Do you see that cabinet behind me? It is full of recipe books that various people have given me over the years, and I've tried them. But if I look in a recipe book and I see a long prep, I just move to the next recipe. I don't have time between working and trying to write murder mysteries and trying to raise the twins. I don't have time to do that. But I'm torn between giving them something yummy and healthy. So my recipes have to be prepped and completed in about 20 minutes. If I had time, I would try to cook like Martha, but I don't, so I have to cook like Nancy. This is my homemade recipe for chicken teriyaki. I like to start with dark meat. I use boneless, skinless thighs because they're juicier. Now I'm going to get them started as I make my teriyaki sauce. Carefully take away the chicken germs. Let's start with the number one ingredient in our house, and that is honey. This calls for a half a cup of honey, but I usually cheat it because Lucy loves honey so much. Her favorite, sliced bananas with honey on top. It's the only way I can get a fruit into that child. And then we put in a half a cup of soy sauce as well. Now I typically use low sodium. You know, it's amazing. The sodium in soy sauce is like eating pure salt. Who needs that? I want the taste without all the sodium. This calls for a quarter cup of rice wine vinegar, and I stick with that because I love vinegar, the twins not so much. Next ingredient is going to be a quarter teaspoon of garlic. Yes, I know, it's pre-minced. There was a time I minced garlic. You have twins and get a job, and let me see you mincing garlic, all right? This recipe calls for a generous amount of pepper, but I've had some very bad experiences with the twins and pepper to the point one of them actually threw up. I don't want to reenact that crime scene at dinner time, so no pepper. Ixnay on the epperpay. One thing they do love is ginger, plus the smell is awesome. We're going to do a half of a teaspoon of ginger. And last but not least, the brown sugar. Calls for a quarter cup. I know the sugar content is not as good for them as other foods, but they won't eat it without it. So, okay, I'm gonna pour that evenly over all the chicken. I've got this set on low, and if you leave it for 4 to 5 hours on low in your slow cooker, it won't get overdone, and it's so tender. While I'm covering murder and mayhem on the air, I know my chicken thighs are fine. Now, very quickly, let's wrap this up. First, you gotta get your chicken out. I'm gonna save that sauce. I now have to shred it. It's about to fall apart, it's so tender. Normally I shred lawyers. Today it's chicken. All done. Remember I told you don't throw out the juices. This is why. You ladle it out, you take a quarter cup of water and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. You've got to stir it in. Nobody wants to see a lump of cornstarch floating around in their chicken. Okay, now I'm going to put it on the heat and continue stirring for about 2 minutes until it begins to thicken up. It's perfect. And now, all that in there, awesome. It's just that simple. And I'm gonna put it over white rice, which Lucy will eat practically anything on white rice with a green vegetable on the side. You know, when I left the courtroom, I thought I'd never have to answer to another judge, and that was the single thing that I liked about leaving the courtroom until now. Twins! You probably know John, David, and Lucy. Here, try these. Okay, go. Okay, be honest. Just tiny bite.
Can I have 5 more bites of this? Or 10?
Uh-oh. Do you like it? I think I'm gonna cry. It's a hit, and it's easy. Now, we have to stand by on the broccoli testing, but so far, chicken teriyaki, thumbs up. They love it, and I hope you do too, all you working moms and dads out there. And if you want this recipe, go to hlntv.com/Nancy. Bye, friend.